Hello, my sailor friends. Have you ever thought about quitting the sea life and moving abroad somewhere, perhaps in Canada? And what will you do there? Or perhaps you are double-minded because you like to sail, but you do not like the part where you have to sail for a very long time and you don't get to meet your family. Then my next story about ship to shore transition is something that will make you think. One of my very dear friend, a batchmate, a roommate from 2005 came to India, and I interviewed him about his journey from his ship to shore transition. And this interview was a bit informal because of the place where we were. It's a very frank conversation between me and Kharak about life in Canada, what all challenges he faced, what you can do to avoid all those. I hope you like it. So let's get started. Let's welcome Kharak Singh to India. So hi guys, today I'm with Kharak Singh. He's a very dear friend from Canada. So we'll find out what he's doing there and how was his shore transition from ship. Hi Kharak.
Hello, bhai.
Welcome brother. I'm good bro.
Thank you. Thank you for having me on this interview.
I would like to start with where you are right now and what you're doing and how you're doing it. Because I specifically know in your case, you have made a good progress in the last 3.5 years. So tell me the complete story.
Okay, so right now I'm working as a captain in British Columbia is the province there. Vancouver is the city. So there are ferry services which work between the lower mainland, or you can say the British Columbia, which is the mainland. And there is an island, a big island, which is called Vancouver Island. They couldn't find a better name. They just named the same. So basically my job is to, obviously you all know what a job of a captain is, I guess. The only difference between this job and deep sea job where you go for months is I mostly do maneuvering. We don't get pilots, we don't get tugs, we don't get anything like that. But we do have very maneuverable vessels. Basic job, as I told you, to take care of first of all, people who are doing navigation, making sure they're doing it right, following the procedures, policies. Anyway, just like all of you, I was sailing deep sea. Then I worked with Maersk as an officer as well till the second officer rank, and then I moved to Canada. My parents got the permanent residence for Canada for the whole family. They didn't want to go. I was the only one who took the chance, went there, spent few months, and then decided, okay, this is the place for me.
So now, once you reached Canada, your first job was as a surveyor.
Yes.
And before I move into that part, now that you are moving into Canada, you were very comfortably working in Maersk Line as second officer at that point.
Yes.
There has to be a very, very strong reason to quit Maersk, to go to a very different country and work with whatever opportunity is available to you. So what was your motivation? What did you really not like being in the deep sea?
I never regretted working deep sea. When I was deep sea, there were people who were like, yaar, ye nahi karna. I'm quitting this. I'm not following. Yes. I'm not doing 2 contracts. I'm out. 3 contracts and out. Those people are still working. And I never complained for some reason. I mean, majority of my sailing have been so excellent. I've been to places I wanted to be. I worked with people who have been super awesome. But my main motivation, as I said in the starting, was to have a family and where I could go home every day, see my kids every day, and be with my parents, with my wife every day.
That was really far-sighted. I felt what you had actually planned 10 years ago when I became chief officer. So yeah, I think mostly all of the sailors, they actually start feeling this, moving ashore. When they start a family, they have kids.
That's the thing.
And they really want to be good fathers.
100%. That's what it is. That's what it is when they don't realize it, because the money is, it blinds you. And it should. Why not?
Should,
we all need money in our life. Yeah. But that wasn't my priority. My priority was to be with the family once my family grows, even though I was single at that time. And then I settled there. I did some odd jobs. I worked as a cargo surveyor. Then I worked as draft surveys, bunker surveys, all these kinds, ship inspections and all that I did. After that, I got the Canadian license. I had to go through few exams because I had only the watchkeeping mate ticket from India, or the second mate ticket we call it here. They call it watchkeeping mate there. That's what I had from here. So I got the equivalency after giving few exams. They accredited few of them. I had to go through few, which wasn't a big deal because it's obviously exams in India are way harder than Canada.
Right.
Right, but you're right. People only start thinking about it when they get married. Not even when they get married, because wives can, especially with companies like Maersk, wives can go on board and they can go shop and visit places while the chief officers are working on board, right? So, not even at that time, but when they have kids, when the kids grow up and they have to go to school, that's when they realize, oh shit, I have to be home. And sometimes it becomes a little too late. So after that, I had to accumulate sea time for chief mate. But BC Ferries hired me only as a deckhand, or we call it AB or OS, whatever. It's similar terminology.
So after sailing as second officer, your first job in BC Ferries was as an AB.
Was a deckhand, definitely. So when I was 21, 22, I was a second officer, right? And then I had to wait till 31 to become a second officer again. So yes, there was a little bit of struggle right there.
So how was that feeling?
It was good. You know, the main...
the culture is actually different.
The culture is different. There is no... I mean, hierarchy is there definitely. As a master, they treat you... You know, I won't say they treat you better, but they treat you different.
Yes.
Working as a deckhand, I never felt that, you know, what am I doing? Why should I do it? People feel that. It's not that people don't. I've seen lots of people who moved there from India or anywhere from this part of the world. By the way, we're in Goa. It's beautiful here. Anyway, so people feel it. There have been people who, I don't want to work. Bhai, main kyun kaam karunga? I'm not working as a deckhand. I've been a master. I've been a chief officer. I'm not working as deckhand. But I didn't take that to my heart.
Yeah.
I worked. I put my head down, showed them that I have the skills. I can do the hard work. And I know the job. Started working with them, but because they knew I had a ticket, there wasn't a job opening as a third or a second officer, but I was subbing up a lot. Subbing up as in I was working as a third and a second a lot whenever they needed me. My base job was still a deckhand, but I was working as second and third. But then I accumulated my sea time, spent 4 years.
So let's say you're working as a second officer. Was your salary for that particular part as second officer, or you're still getting the deckhand?
No, I was getting paid as second officer. They pay you by hour.
Okay.
So whatever job you work at, whatever designation you work at, they pay you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Excellent.
And anyway.
And then your growth, that is the surprising part, that then your growth from that deckhand and directly to master was 3.5 years, which is highly uncommon.
Like that,
I think you're the first case there. Which has been able to do it.
Do it that quick.
So, what did you do that it all happened so fast?
One thing is, which is very good about us Indians is, or anyone from Southeast Asia or, you know, subcontinent, is we are very competitive. It's from the childhood. Even when you're in the school, your parents beat the shit out of you to get the 90%, right?
Right.
So you start from there. Which works in favor and it works wonders for you.
Yes. So right now, you're working as a master. You are in Canada.
Yes.
Living in a very, very beautiful place.
Very beautiful. It's called beautiful British Columbia. That's the name.
And you have already started a family and you're well established.
Yes, I got two daughters.
How many years you have finished in Canada now?
10 years.
Moving on to the next question. Now there is a second officer. Another one like you.
Yeah.
Okay. Sailing in Maersk or whichever company. And he sees your life and he sees Canada living a good life and he's became master also 3.5 years. Is this the right time for him to move?
Yes.
Or,
I would say yes. Couple of things in that, because when you're a second officer, your age is at a level that you could easily move. You're not into your comfort zone.
Right.
Canada gives you more points because you have to go by express entry. They give you more point between 25 and 30 years of age. That's the max points you get. Before 25, it's a little less. After 30, it drastically drops.
Okay.
Right? So you have to accumulate certain points to become the permanent residents of Canada, right?
Okay.
So to get those points, 25 to 30 is the best age to go, because you can settle down there, but you're still very enthusiast in your life. You still can, take risks. You're not fully content and you're not fully in the comfort zone in your life.
Right. And in your case, when you went there, so your sea time till second officer was not accounted or accepted as per the Canadian standard.
Yes.
So in that case, you had to do the sea time again.
Yes.
Till you were chief officer.
Yes.
Then you were able to use that also.
So what happened between that? That was back in 2015, right?
Right.
13 I moved there. 15 I started working with BC Ferries, and that's when 14 I got my watchkeeping mate there, which is equivalent to second officer. That's when the rules were different. They said, oh, once you have a ticket here, you have to accumulate the sea time again.
Right.
But now the rules have changed. By the time I got my 4.5 years I spent to get 12 months of sea time, because I was working as a deckhand. They don't give you sea time as a deckhand.
Right.
Only as a second mate or a third mate you can accumulate sea time and then go for chief officer exam. I needed 12 months for that, right?
Yes.
So I went for chief officer exam. But after that, the rules changed. People who came after me, like came to Canada, they came with watchkeeping mate ticket, 12 months, 14 months, 15 months of sea time. They gave their they got the watchkeeping mate from there, or second mate there, and immediately went for chief officer exams, got their chief officers. I'm like, oh man, this is wrong.
Now if a second officer is coming to Canada,
Yes.
so he'll be able to directly use his sea time.
They will definitely be able to
and
use
he
it.
will be able to get the sea
Yes.
time, I mean this COC of Canadian COC of second mate.
Second
very
mate easily, and then they can submit that sea time, which they already have, provided they have the sea time. They can submit that sea time and sit in the chief officer exams.
Okay. That's excellent. So things
So
are
that's what I
easier
did.
than what it was for you.
Oh, definitely, 100%. As a chief officer, what I did, when I became the chief officer, now the rules had changed. I used those 20 months of sea time, because you could use only half of it, right? Because it is, as a second mate, it is counted as half.
Right.
But once I still could use that little bit of chief officer sea time, little bit of that time combined. I went for masters within a year or within 1.5 years.
Excellent, man.
Yeah.
So now another question. If there's somebody who's a chief officer and a master, let's say he's close to 35, is this the right time for him to move? Let's say he's able to satisfy the conditions of PR. Is this the right time for him to move and thinking that I'll be making a similar career like yours?
Yes. If I had gone with the chief officer ticket at that time from India,
Okay.
which I did not know. If I knew, I would not have given exams there.
Yes, yes.
I would have taken my chief officer from here, because I had the sea time. I was already getting prepared to do the phase 1, right? I would have taken chief officer, go there,
Right.
submit it. They would have told me, okay, these 2 exams, do it. Here's your chief officer ticket.
Let me talk a bit about life in Canada. So as far as I know, let's say I'm working as a master and I think, okay, let's move to Canada. And there'll be expenses, initial expenses when I move there. And there is a earning which has stopped. Then there will be some time for me to settle down there, make some heavy expenses there, because now I know in Canada right now, inflation rate is very high, isn't it?
Yes.
So how many months it will take for me to actually just get at par? Let's say I don't want to make profit out of it. I don't want to save right now. I have the savings, but I don't want to bite into my savings. Yes.
You don't want to use the Indian money.
Yes. So if I just move there, let's say I've taken care of the, reach there with my family and I'm there. And I'm just doing some odd jobs of, whatever I can find based on my competency. Will I be able to survive with just on those earnings with my family?
Yes.
Too.
Yes. Within a month.
Within a month, I'll be
Within a
settled.
month. 1 month you will have to spend the money you took from here, or you have to get some money from here.
Right.
Maybe 1.5, 2 months. That's it. After that, as I said, as a seafarer, there are lots of jobs there. Obviously, there won't be savings, as you said. There won't be any savings from
For
that
some time,
salary
yes.
for some time.
Yes.
Because you have to pay the rent. You have to get, your licenses, driving license.
Yes.
You have to do the courses, Transport Canada's courses. For that, you have to pay to the colleges. Then you're paying for your wife's studies. If your wife wants to
Yes.
get the equivalency, let's say a wife is a nurse or a doctor or a dentist, they have to get the equivalency as well, right? You can't just go there and work as a dentist,
Right.
So all those things matter, and you spend money in that. For kids, education is free, so you don't have to spend much, but all the other things, yes, these things add up, and you won't be saving anything, but yes, you can survive with that money without touching your Indian money after a month. So,
Tell me about your work-life balance now.
Okay.
What is your routine? What do you follow? Like 1 week routine? How is it?
So I'll go with full month. Let's
Okay.
put it that way. So
Okay.
I do shift work.
Yes.
There are 2 shifts. One is in the morning, starts at 6:15, finishes at 2:45, 14:45.
Right.
So 3:15 I'm home, right?
Right.
If I'm not doing the morning shift, I do the afternoon shift, which starts at 2:45 because someone has to relieve that master who just left at 2:45.
Okay.
And it goes all the way till 11 o'clock.
Right.
And then the ferries tie up. Or at least the ferry I work on, majority of the time, ties up.
Okay.
And then from 2:45 to 11, and then you go home, you're home at 11:15, 11:30, depending how far you're living, right?
Right.
Now the days off, my schedule as a master, it's a little, in the nutshell, I have to work 17 days a month.
17 days a month.
Yes.
Basically 17 shifts you're doing.
Yes.
You're coming back home every day.
Every day, yes.
Plus you're getting remaining 13 days fully off.
Fully off. And
That's better than sailing, man.
100%, I'm telling you, it is better. The only thing, as I said earlier, is not good with this, or not better than sailing is money.
Okay.
But if you have enough savings, if you want to have a work-life balance, perfect.
You know, sailors, they always have this question and they don't feel bad if somebody asks the salary. So I'll do the same. Don't feel bad.
No, I won't feel bad. And although Canadians do.
I know. So as a master in BC Ferries, how much people can expect to earn?
My monthly salary is $12,500. Canadian dollars.
Canadian dollars.
Yes. Basically, we have a yearly package.
Okay.
I'm at 150
Okay.
right now, 150,000.
Right.
That's what we call it. There are masters who are experienced. I'm very new as a master, 1.5 years, right?
Yes.
So
In India, we call that a senior master. After 1 year of experience, very senior. 1 year experience.
no, people who are senior there, they are getting 160, 165, somewhere there.
Okay.
So yeah.
So salary, and how much, let's say with seniority, what is the final step you can expect? $200,000?
Well, as a master, I don't think you go above 165, 170.
Okay.
But as you said, there is a designation senior master. You can become a senior master. They earn 175, 180.
Okay.
Then you become a superintendent who earn about 200,000.
Okay.
A little over 210, 215, depending on your.
And this transition is automatic, or still you have to clear some exams for becoming a
It is.
superintendent?
It is all interview based.
All interview.
Interview based, and this is one of the reasons I got the master's job within 3.5 years, from deckhand to master, 3.5 years, because I did very well in the interviews, and my work ethics and my maneuvering of the ships and my knowledge of the ship, people who interviewed me liked more than the other people who were
More experience also.
who were in the a little bit more experience, who were in the interviews.
Right.
It's a good competition of interviews as well. It's not that you become a master, you have a ticket and you get the job, right?
Right.
There are, like right now, there might be 9 or 10 people sitting with the master's ticket there, but the jobs will only be to those who can who excel.
Excel
basically.
in the interview.
Yeah.
So this interview
Not only
is-
interview, when you're working as chief officer, they'll see your work ethics.
Right.
They'll see my because I'll still be maneuvering the ships. They want to know if I can handle those ships, right? Maneuvering is not easy. It's very challenging, but it's very interesting. It's very fun.
Right.
If you like adventure, or if you like some adrenaline rush in your body, it's very good because it's fast paced, very fast paced.
Now we know about your job, what you're doing. Now, how's your family life overall? Are you absolutely satisfied?
I'm very satisfied. My wife works at a bank. 2 kids, 4-year-old, 1.5-year-old. Older one goes to school, younger one stays home. My parents are there, so their grandparents are there. They take care of the kids as well, and we are home. I got lots of time to spend at home.
Right.
As a work-life balance. Sometimes people even ask me, "Do you even work?"
So I'm curious, what is your routine on those 13 days when you're not working?
Nothing much really. I just visit friends. We have in the evenings we
So
have
you're absolutely
parties.
free.
We just
So let's say there's another guy who is ambitious, or he has more abilities, and he says, I want to use these 13 days. And he says, out of these 13 days, I'll work for another 10 days.
Yeah.
Is he allowed to do that?
100%. People drive Uber, And again, jobs over there, they're not considered bad or
Right,
good, anything. As far as it's giving you money, as far as you're utilizing your time in the positive direction.
Or give
Yes.
more time in BC Ferries itself?
You can, as a chief officer, you can, as a captain, you cannot, because as a chief officer, it's little complicated, but you get overtime.
Okay.
As a chief, as a second, as a third, as a deckhand, you get overtime. As a master, your salary is fixed.
Okay.
So when you as a chief officer, you're working on hourly basis. So you do more hours, you get double the pay.
Right.
So let's say chief officer's salary or hourly pay is about $53, $54.
Right.
They give you $110 an hour
Right.
when you're working as chief. So yes, you can work with BC Ferries if you're at those ranks. You can drive Uber. There are other boats, dinner cruises they call it, where the parties go. You can go and work as a master. There's sheltered waters. As a chief officer, you can work as a master, right?
Right.
As a second mate, you can work as a chief mate or whatever, right?
Okay.
So, and you can start your own business. Have a partner, maybe from BC Ferries, right? That person is 13 days off, you're 13, 14 days off.
So you're saying seafarers have enough opportunities in Canada even now?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
I have friends who are doing lots different jobs. They are running restaurants. They are running immigration companies. Immigration consultants and all that.
Right.
So yes, people are doing all those jobs.
Right. So Kharag, any other advice from this whole thing? Basically, this whole podcast, I forgot to share it in the introduction. So this podcast, Kharag, is basically for people who are working at sea and they want to move ashore. Now there are jobs like superintendent, working in the operations department. But then there are more opportunities.
Yes.
Within my circle, I've seen people doing MBA from the best of colleges,
Right.
moving in so many places.
Right.
So that's why I'm making this podcast, where I find a different person and I share their story. So your story has been absolutely excellent. It was very inspirational for me also. And there are, like, I can say two friends, especially you and Abhishek, whose story is so inspirational, and I tell it to everyone.
Right.
So
Thank you.
I'm very happy
Thank you.
that you were here from Canada,
Right.
and we decided to meet, and we were able to do this before going to the beach.
Right. We're gonna head to the beach. So one couple of things I want to say.
Yeah.
Be realistic. You're not gonna get 100% anywhere.
Right.
If you think Canada is heaven, it's not. If you think India is heaven, it's not.
It's not, yes.
There are things which you don't get in India. There are things which you don't get deep sea. There are things which you don't get at a shore job in India. Similarly, there are things which you don't get in Canada as well. Like there are a few, I would say amenities, or I won't say amenities, but like there are a few
Privileges.
Privileges, 100%.
Yes.
That's the right word.
Yeah.
There are few privileges which you don't get in Canada, which you get in India.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So
House help.
house help
House help for
is a big thing. You have to
So ask your wife before moving to Canada.
not only wife, you have to do it yourself as well. I do everything, man. Like it's not only wife's job because they're working as well.
Of course.
You have to take care of cleaning. You have to take care of the kids. You have to change diapers. You have to get them shower and everything. Take them to the school. Take them to the swimming classes. Take them to the skating classes. I do that all, right?
Yes.
I actually do it more because I have more days off than her. So I'm more like a homely guy there, right? So you have to do it all. Of course, there's a great help from my parents as well.
Right.
But ultimately, you have to do all that. So you don't get 100% there.
Yes.
You don't have blanket there to get the grocery to your home. I mean, there are services there as well,
But
but
they're very
expensive, right? You have to spend more money. Here it is very competitive, so the money is not that big a difference, right?
Yes.
So you don't get everything everywhere. So if you are moving, if you have that, you want to move to Canada or any country for that matter, Australia, UK, Europe, anywhere in Europe, right? Any country in Europe, you want to move. Have that mindset that you're not gonna achieve everything there. It looks very beautiful. Grass is always greener on the other side, but sometimes it's not as green. It still is very green. It all depends on your priorities. What your priorities are.
Is there anything a person can do? Let's say I move to Canada, just live there for 1 month. Do you think that will give me a picture of what I can expect?
No.
Only living there
Only
and
living
actually
there.
surviving there.
It's like me coming to Goa and spending a month or maybe 2 weeks here and thinking, oh, this is heaven. It is heaven, But
not the complete year.
ask the people here.
Yes.
Right? Ask them, hey, how do you feel? Well,
Right.
they're not excited. Same as deep sea. You take passengers on the ferries or on cruise ships. People spend money to go on cruise ships.
Yes.
Just because it's temporary, they enjoy, they go to the swimming pool, they go to the bars. Ask me, I want to go to a cruise ship? No. Right? Because I've spent all my life in the sea, right? Yes. Watching whales in the sea. Exciting for people, not for us, because we have seen it a lot.
Now you're seeing it every day, I think.
Yes, I am. So anyway, within a short period of time, you cannot have the full picture of what it is.
Right.
You can still get some picture of it.
Right.
It's very beautiful. There are lots of, within 10 years, I travel, I move, go here and there, a day trip here, day trip there with the family, or a couple of days here, 3 days here, a week there. I can tell you one thing, Vancouver, I've been there for, I've been living there for 10 years. I've still not seen 30% of it. It's that beautiful, there's so much to do there. See, as a master, as a chief officer, as a chief engineer, as a second engineer, if you're in these higher ranks, you definitely can make a better career there. Because they need seafarers.
Okay.
Canada is, it was 2 years ago. It was quite a bit, vacuum there.
Right.
Not as much anymore, but still they need a lot of people. I can tell you one thing. When I started working with BC Ferries, we were only 2 of us were Indians, and I was a deckhand. The other guy was deckhand as well.
Okay.
Right now, 4 masters in my terminal. Other terminals, lots.
Okay.
In my terminal, 4 masters and 9 chief officers.
That's great.
Indians. So look at how many people have gone there and achieved and taken those opportunities. People went there, they took the opportunities and they started their
So if a master goes there, all he has to do is still give exams for second mate COC, chief mate COC?
No.
Not required?
No, not as a master.
As a master, his master COC
As
is
a master,
accepted.
no. As a master, the master has to give only master's exams. And that too, some of the exams are exempt.
Right.
It is only 1 or 2 exams, and obviously every ticket you have to sit for the orals. Orals plus couple exams, you're done. I think it is SCS 5, which is stability, which we do here,
Right.
and SM 4, which is ship management, which we do here as well, right? So those 2 exams, and it varies from person to person, varies from examiner to examiner, how they assess you, everything. But as far as you have a ticket, they will give you that ticket after. You don't have to start from the bottom. As a master, you get the master's COC after giving to. If you go as a chief officer, you will sit they'll accredit few of the chief officer exams.
Okay.
And courses, and they'll tell you, okay, do these 2, do these 3, and then they'll give you the chief officer ticket. Anything else, Mr. Robin Sharma?
I think that will be all, bro. Thank you very much for your time. Next
Cheers.
interview will be, I think, when I come to Canada.
Yes, then I'll take your interview and ask you, how do you feel?
Yes.
What do you think about this?
Yeah.
But anyway, if anyone is planning to move out of deep sea sailing, do it right now. If you think tomorrow is the right time, no, I won't say that. Today is the right time. Whatever age group you are in, today is the right time to move out.
Right.
And move out.
The later
Don't
you
complain
go, the
about it.
more difficult it is.
Yes, don't complain about it.
Yes.
Move out and do something which you like.
Right. Excellent advice, bro. Thank you very much.
You're welcome, sir.
Let's go.
Let's go to the beach.
Party time.